Alright, man, so look, in this video, I'm gonna be trying to talk to y'all about how to never get diffed by Iron Fist. And I mean, like, if you play Iron Fist and you going up against Iron Fist, I'm showing y'all how to never get diffed by the Iron Fist you playing against. And for the most part, it just comes down to, playing chess, bro. It's like a chess match, bro. You gotta make the right move and force them to make the wrong move. It's really all about strategy. People like to say, oh, Iron Fist take no skill, but at the end of the day, Iron Fist is like a strategy type player. Like it's getting people to use their resources and not engaging at the right time and engaging at the right time. So it's a fine line to it. I think the dude in this game ran Iron Fist. I could be wrong. I thought the dude in this game ran Iron Fist. But I'm watching the game right now and it seems like he didn't. Somebody might switch to Iron Fist to try to diff me, but like I said, bro, anytime somebody tries to run Iron Fist, bro, I'm not going for it, bro. So it's a few key things you want to look out for. It's a few key things you want to do. So say for instance, we all know Iron Fist likes to play dive. He likes to play, around the corners on the flank. And when he comes off the flank, he's kind of like a Black Panther. He comes off the flank and then he plays, in the other team's back line. But what you do as an Iron Fist is you are supposed to, you're supposed to dive. Yeah, you're supposed to hit the back line, but you're also supposed to peel back. And that's what you want to be doing to always make sure you diff your opponent. For instance, if you're playing against Iron Fist. Now, people like Magic or whatever, they might be harder to fight against because Magic just has a one-shot combo where if you don't block it right or if you have no block, you through. So especially when you're coming back to your team, they can enable you in that fight against Magic and you'll get some heals or whatever, they'll have your back and then you'll be able to take on the Magic. And that's kind of the same philosophy you want to use against really anybody diving your back line. You want to be a peeler with Iron Fist. You want to play the back line. Yeah, you want to play the front line on some tanks to farm that ult. But at the end of the day, you also want to be peeling back for your back line to make sure that, whoever is on them, you're forcing them off. So I love when the opposing team tries to go cap or, they try to go Iron Fist because I'm always peeling back. That's my first thing I'm doing. I'm peeling back, making sure that as soon as you touch my healers, I'm back there trying to, get you off the back line, get you off the heels, and then they enable me in the fight and enable anybody else in the fight to, take care of you, make sure you out of there. You see right here, I don't know if I'm gonna have it in this clip. I might pull up a video where it'll work, where I show everything I'm talking about. But for the most part, so I don't know if I can't like directly find a clip for this. So for the most part, we're just gonna be talking about how it looks, cause it's kind of rare for me to find an Iron Fist to play against. Like I don't really come across a lot of people who play Iron Fist. If I do, I'm making them switch, bro. My goal is to always make divers switch, and normally when I play against divers, they always switch to Squirrel Girl, Wanda, or whatever. Only person I had the biggest problem with is Black Panther, cause you really gotta like stay on them. Just to get him out of there. Even Spider-Man's I don't really have a problem with because for the most part, Spider-Man, you just kind of flick him on. He's like a fly, bro. He's like a fly. You just got to keep swatting him away, bro. It's like you'll rarely get the full kill on him, but you can fly. You can swat him away, make sure he's off your healers, and then your team will still be doing their work. And Spider-Man will just get, no picks. And occasionally, if he uses all his resources, he uses all his webs, then you can get him up out of there. But when you're playing an Iron Fist, what you want to do is you want to dive their back line. When you see him walk past you or whatever, when you see him on the front line or you see him in the flank, ignore him. Just straight up ignore him. And if he comes after you, you fight him. You try to force out, whatever you can from him, force out his block. But as soon as I think in this clip right here, I'm showing the Iron Fist. He comes to my back line. And what do? I get him off my healers. My healers are enabling me so I can use my block. I can use my resources. And I can force him off my healers. Now he runs back to his healers. And even though he runs back to his, if he's low and I still have my resources like my spin kick, my dragon kick or whatever, I can use that on him. I can use that to get the upper hand. So I try to make sure that you know, if I'm fighting an Iron Fist, I'm getting him to use his resources before I use my resources. If I'm fighting an Iron Fist, I'm getting him to engage with our team at the wrong times while all of us have our resources, and we still maintain our resources without, you know, without letting him get the upper hand on us. That's my whole goal when I'm fighting a dive or I'm fighting the Iron Fist. So yeah, I think the person switched off Iron Fist. I haven't really been seeing him again this match. And people like Moon Knight, bro, like he's just gonna throw the Ankh at the ground in front of you. If you try to dive him, he's just gonna throw the Ankh on the ground and hope that he hits you. And that's what the block comes in handy for. I love playing against Moon Knights I love playing against Moon Knights, Captain America, Thor, you know, who else? Star-Lords, because those are all players who really can't really do much against me. People like Bucky, if you play a good Bucky, play a good Hawkeye, bro, those are the toughest, because it's hard to block people who do a lot of damage with only 1 or 2, 3 attacks, you know, and they don't really operate on combos. They don't operate off of, you know, damage that's gonna be sustained. They do strictly, you know, short amount of hits, short amount of combos, but a lot of damage. And that's why I struggle with people like Magic, Hawkeye, some Hellas for the most. You gotta be a great Hella for me to have it actually struggle against you. But you know, Hawkeye's Hella, who else? Magic, even people like Strange sometimes are hard. But Strange he has no CC, bro. If you running like multiple divers, or you running like dive tanks, dive with, you know, maybe one dive tank, one dive DPS, then you have everybody else in back with the heals. That works against Strange very well. Strange and Wanda very well. Like you have a shield and then you have a dive like Thor or Thing. Like I love playing with a Thing or a Captain America on my team, bro. It just makes it so much easier, so much better. And yeah, that's a good one. So another tip is for fighting my boy Mr. Fantastic, because a lot of people would think, oh, Mr. Fantastic, that's anti-dive. You know, I can deal with him on Mr. Fantastic. But it's about how you use your resources when you fighting against Mr. Fantastic. And so what you want to do is you want to get Mr. Fantastic in his big form before you start before you engage with him too much. Because in his big form, that's when he's the most vulnerable. And when I say most vulnerable, I mean like he can't save himself like going to his, you know, he can't go into his little rectangle form where he just absorbs damage. So that's where you want to do most of your damage to him when he's in his big form. So you let him get in his big form, and you know, hopefully when he hits you, or you know, hopefully he grabs you and he's about to go in his big form, you block on that grab, you block on, you know, whatever move he is that's getting him into his big form. Then once he's in big form, you go into your block form and you just, you know, do the flurry punches, and that chips away at his health so quick. If everybody focuses him, or if, you know, just a few people focus him, he'll get up out of there. So it's really easy to take out people like Mr. Fantastic, who tries to play like a third tank. Or, you know, especially if you have a Wolverine on your team, then you know you don't really have to focus on the tanks. You could focus on, you know, the Mr. Fantastics or the Buckies or whoever else. You see, you could probably see in this video, if I use this clip, I kind of struggle with the Bucky, but for the most part, I don't really struggle with the Mr. Fantastic, because like I'm doing here, you see, I start chipping away at his health. Now I move around to different people because I want to get them off of the point, but with the Mr. Fantastic, I'm chipping away at his health constantly, trying to get him, you know, trying to at least get other people to focus him and get him out of here. So that's my biggest thing when fighting Mr. Fantastic, bro. Who else do I want to fight? When you fighting people like Magic, you see it right here, I block. And the good thing about this one is Magneto threw his bubble on me. So that just gave me permission to just go all in on him, just focus completely on him. This video might not be synced with what I'm recording. This audio might not be synced with what I'm recording, but you'll eventually see the clips, if not right when I synced it up. But Yeah, so I go in there and my like this is my main intention. You see, when I go ult form, the way I try to use my ult is around the enemy heals. So right now I'm focusing thing and I'm keeping him off the point. Even if I don't get the kill, he's staying off the point because he knows there's too much damage coming at him. It's too much damage for him to actually get onto the point and make a change, make a difference in the game. I also like to focus the pennies. The penny is a good target, especially when she in her ult, because you can use the flurry punch form again, the block form, the dragon block or whatever it's called. I don't even know the name of the moves, bro. I just do them. I just know what to do, how to do it, when to do it. So the penny, when she's in her ult form, sometimes she's not dropping the bombs behind her. Sometimes she does, and even if she does, you can block those, get some help, get some extra health, and then focus in on Penny in her block form, and that helps you out. That helps us out, especially when you know it's kind of like focusing in on her. Look at this thing. This thing tried to come to the point we were in. Oh, then here's Penny. She's gone. Rocket. He's gone. Now Wanda, people like Wanda, she's so easy to fight. You force her to use both of her disappears, then eventually you could just kick her. You force her to use both of her heals, you punch her enough, block when she tries to throw her, put some damage on you and throw the little shards, block it, and then you kick, and she's gone. Wanda is an easy target to take out on here, especially with Iron Fist. Now people like Black Panther. Black Panther, bro. He's probably one of the hardest to deal with, mainly because Black Panther moves so quickly. He does so much damage with his movements. It's like you have to have like the high ground to see where he's moving, so then you can lock on him and you can actually get into a fight with him. You essentially what you're doing with Iron Fist is you're forcing people to use their resources, bro. That's the whole philosophy behind Iron Fist, bro. He's like Cap, bro. He's like Cap. This is why I like running with Cap, because it's like having two Captain Americas on the field at the same time. Though he has less health, he has the ability to block. Now his block doesn't, shoot things back at you. So if I'm fighting Punisher, I want to stay behind his turret. But even then, I have the block to give me some extra health, do some extra damage, and then I'm forcing out the other person's resources while I still have the ability to kick or do whatever I can to get up out of there if things don't go my way. So it's not always about getting the picks, even though that's the main primary goal. You want to get picks, but you definitely want to survive. You definitely want to force out the other team's resources. You want to force out ults. You want to force out things like Adam Warlock's Soul Bond. You want to force out the Soul Bond for sure. You want to force out Luna's Snowball. You want to force that out, or whatever it's called. You want to force out Cloak to use her blind wall. You want to force that out. The Terror Cape. You want to force that out, because then that allows your tanks, if you don't have or any other dives, if you force that out, that allows your tanks or whoever who don't have shield or whatever, that allows them to push up further, and even then they can't be blinded. They can do more damage on the front line. They can do more damage to the heels now. They can push up with you. People can push up. So it's like I kind of play him like a tank, kind of play him like Cap, DPS, but I try to, the whole goal for me is to force out people's resources. So I'm forcing out Inviz's jump. I'm forcing out Cloak's disappear, whatever it is. I'm forcing out the bubble, so they have to use it on themselves and not their team. I'm forcing out Mantis's sleep. So all those things, I'm forcing them to use those, and then I'm diving right back in to, maybe come back and get a kill, maybe come back, keep them out of the game, and let my front line push. That's the main goal with Iron Fist. You want to force out resources. So when I say you're not getting diffed by another Iron Fist, because you're forcing him to use his resources and put him in a bad situation at all times. And you want to do that when he's diving your team. You don't want to do that when you're diving his team, because when you're diving, you're using your resources. You using your things like block. You using your kick. you might use your kick. If you see you have a pick right then and there, you don't want to go for a trade, bro. You don't want to go for a trade. You wanna survive. So you use your block maybe against the Emma who stays in the back line guarding the healers or whatever. You want to use your block. You want to save your block for that. And then you want to go back to your back line so they can enable you in a fight against the Iron Fist who's dropping on them. That's the main goal, is to force out their resources, and your team keeps your resources for your team, not using them to protect themselves, not using them to, waste on themselves. Now, sometimes it's not going to be a perfect thing every single time, of course not. But you'll be able to do these things if you play it properly. You pay attention to what's going on in your back line. You pay attention to what's going on the front line. You're looking at what you're diving. You're looking at the tanks and how they're doing. The tanks on the other team, your enemy tanks. You're looking at what they're doing, and you're trying to basically play around it, bro. Now, I know it's pretty vague what I'm saying. It's kind of vague what I'm saying, but once you get it into practice, you'll start seeing what I'm saying. I wish I had the clips on me. I might be able to add some clips on here about it. But like one of the recent shorts I posted, it was about how I forced out the Adam Soulbond on the team that just stacked all their ults on us early in the round before we had like 3 minutes left. They stacked all their ults, and the point was already at the end. So why would you stack ults when the point is at the end? You're not stopping us from doing anything. We still have like 2-3 more pushes. You stacked all your ults. The point is at the end. We might, we're getting that round. So it's things like that. You want to force bad plays on them. So I'll try to pull some more clips to put up in the video. That's all I got to talk about for this video, bro. If you like the video, hit the like, subscribe, share it, whatever. That's it, bro. Take it easy.